Do I really have to answer that question? To ina za mu fara the story? Like, where do you want us to start the story from? Back to the website, where I can answer this sort of questions, not here like this, maybe in writing or something like that. Yeah, wait, is this thing going online? Is this going online? Who am I even talking to? It's not like this is live, so just calm down. Anyway, I had scheduled a meeting with my boyfriend at the time, for this, we will call him Idris, even though that is actually his real name, but that is not what we are talking about at the moment. So anyway, I had scheduled a meeting with Idris, and because I had a lot of matters on my mind, you understand, and I wanted to table the matters before him and all of that. And that was actually the reason I went to his flat that day, Don't get me wrong, I actually really loved Idris. Like, I really, really, really loved him, Actually, I did. I'm saying actually a lot. But there was something about Idris, he was a crier, those men that when they were kids, when they were little kids, and their mothers just sort of encouraged them to just cry over any little thing, just cry over anything at all, and somehow he managed to overdo it, that sort of thing. And yeah, he's that type. So, the funny thing, he actually never believed me when I told him that I loved him. I used to tell him that I loved him, but he never believed it, So when I showed up at his flat that day with, gifts in hand and, words in my heart, he was pretty shocked. He was actually really surprised. He started to agitate, you understand? He was asking me, like, what is the emergency and all of that. Like, what is going on? Why? And I said to him, no, there's no emergency. Just calm down, you understand? It's just a talk. I just want to talk with you, Nne. And gaskiya, that is all it was supposed to be. Just a quick, simple talk, Nne. That is all. It's true, Nne. But that is what it was supposed to be. Just quick in and out, and that was all. Anyway, listen. I had read it somewhere on the internet, that it would be better for me to do the breaking up, not to do it over the phone. Do you understand? Because if I did it over the phone, it would cause more damage, to him, more damage to the person that you are doing that to. And that if my physical presence was there, that it would help him, with them. What is that word that they usually use? With closure. It would help him with closure, exactly. So that is really the only reason that I went to that flat that day. Gaskiya, that is it. So before I even say what I want to say next, you have to know that I really regret even just listening to that stupid advice from the internet. I really regret it. If I had known what was going to happen on that fateful day, I would not have listened to it, Nne. So I broke the news to him, and I told him. And of course, as you would believe it, Idris started to... He became hysterical. He was being so dramatic over the whole entire thing, He started to cry. And he was just so hysterical over everything. Zaka fara kuka. Takuka. I said, Idris. But he wouldn't even let me to explain, to sort of tell him the reasons behind why I was doing what I was doing. He just decided, he was just weeping me. The weeping escalated. It escalated and he started to ask me daft questions. Does the man know? Did the man find out? Is it me? What did I do? Waye, kaza, just asking me just stupid questions. I said to him, Idris, just wait for me. Nothing happened. I just want to focus on my marriage, That is all. Can you imagine that the weeping intensified? The crying became worse. Hardamura, everything coming out of his nose, everything all over the place, touching me and all of that. From even just the amount of noise and the amount of just crying everywhere, I even said to myself, you know what, Aneesa, maybe you should not even just break up with him. Maybe you should just reconsider and maybe you should just leave. Don't even leave him or anything like that, because fine. There is nothing that would have made me to stay with him. It's true. But even if I was going to lie, he would have allowed me to tell him the lie. He didn't even allow the lie to land. Before I even said it, Idris dropped a bomb on me. Can you imagine that? Idris dropped a bomb on me. He said that he was going to tell my husband. Can you just imagine that? That he was going to tell my husband. It was now my turn for me to beg. It was my turn. And I begged him. Nace Idris, dan Allah, dan Annabi. Dan Allah, karka giya mun. Don't tell me this sort of thing. What are you trying to say to me? Idris wouldn't listen. Imagine that on top of what he was saying, Idris had demands for me. Mana. Idris had demands for me. He said that not only will I confess to my husband, he said I will confess to him. When I confess to him, then I will now leave him. That is my husband. After I leave him, then I will come back to Idris and be his girlfriend again. Can you just imagine that? Idris did not even think to even ask me to marry him. He didn't even think of that. He was asking me to come back and be his girlfriend. Can you just imagine that? Nene, I am a very reasonable person. I even said, okay, Idris, let us negotiate. I tried to reason with him. I said, let us bargain. You understand? I said, perhaps if the begging won't work, then perhaps I can bargain with him. I said to Idris, Idris, your monthly allowance, I will double it. Amen. I said to him, I will double it. Idris said no. I said, okay, badamwa. There is no problem at all. I said, on top of doubling your monthly allowance, your trips abroad from 2 times a year, I will make it 4 times a year. All on me, all expenses paid. You don't have to do anything. Just go and have a good time with your friends. Idris would have none of it. He told me no. He said that he was done with me. Can you imagine that? Idris was done with me and my promises. And he was willing to do anything it took to protect that rotten heart of his, including throwing me under the bus. Can you imagine? He wanted to throw me under the bus. I panicked ni. Tsorone. That is not who I am. I was afraid ni. That boy was going to go right then and there to my husband and ruin my entire life. I panicked ni. I regret what I did, but I had to do something. The pressing iron, it was not too far away from where I was standing. So, let me just even tell you that because of how bad I felt, I blanked ni. I blanked. By the time I reached for the iron, I blanked out ni. And the only thing that I remember is that my body became stiff. It just became stiff. Come on, kifi mebushe. Come on, kifi mebushe. As I hit him on the head, I just became so stiff and I regret it. I was hurting. I mean, I was hurting too. Because I almost killed the love of my life that day. And what is even worse, my husband nearly lost his only son.
So I put the phone on silent. That's a funny question. Sounds a little narcissistic, don't you think? Do you want an honest answer? I've never done this before. Honest, right? I know. Thing is, I needed a break. I mean, life was getting to me. Quarantine and the lockdown, it messed me up. And so I need to take this. Just cut the camera, okay? They asked for a simple video.
So Yawiri. No. Answer the question. Are you mad? 5 million naira. Funkini.
Has your father's generation seen that kind of money before? 5 million naira. I am in control of my emotions. I am in control of my emotions. I am in control of my emotions. Eh? Only try. Me why only bamifa? What? Look, listen to me, Aladese, whatever it is you call yourself. If you think that you are mad, I will show you that I'm a walking psychiatric hospital. If you need me to remind you, my name is Itohan Akombi Phillips. My name moves the earth. And you are an ant, and I will crush you. Oh, that is what... Were you recording that? Is that what they hired you to do, to record my personal life? You know what, let's just finish this survey thing and cut that out or edit it out or something. Man, fuck it. I'm not the calmest pearl in the room, okay? I'll be honest. But I do try. It all started with the man that I married. He's not the most good-looking man, but he is kind and rich. But his kindness was shockingly more important to me. Now, we had been married a few months, and I started to get suspicious. You just know when something is off. Like, you just know. But I didn't want to be that woman, you know? So I shrugged it off and I ignored it. Maybe I shouldn't have ignored. You know, sometimes I wonder what would have happened if I hadn't ignored. Thing is, I'm not like most insecure women. Those women who attack and beg to know if and when their husband is cheating. I mean, men cheat. It's their thing. I was fine with it, as long as he came back home to me and slept in our bed. Or so I thought. All of a sudden, he started becoming super sneaky. And it began to bother me. It bothered me. The bed was always empty because he was out late and I was up waiting for him. I was slowly becoming those women and it ate me up. I hated myself. I hated myself, but I didn't say a thing. I did not say a word. But things took an interesting turn. Things took an interesting turn one evening when we were spending time together. He felt the exciting urge to use the bathroom. But he left his phone right next to me. Now, he wasn't smart enough to change his password when his dog days began, but I was smart enough to go through his phone. I went through his messages with her. And I found out that he planned on seeing her in the morning. And then he was going to figure out a way to spend the entire weekend with her. Now, also from those messages, I was able to clock that this woman was staying in our flat. Just imagine the rubbish. I prepared myself for a visit. Now, after going to 2 wrong flats, I found her I finally found her. Now my husband, my dear husband, was having a busy work day with my dad. And I had all the time in the world. And so I thought of what I was going to say, what I was going to do. You know, I'm not like those women who chase and go after the other woman. But here I was, standing in front of this tall, heavy wooden door, rehearsing my anger and my bitterness. After 3 knocks, I was let in. You know, I must have blanked out the first few minutes of being in that flat, because I could not have imagined the beauty of the woman that was standing in that flat. I mean, she was beautiful. No, I mean, this woman was beautiful. Like, she was there standing tall, like a stallion. I mean, she said, die. And then she knew who I was. She knew who I was. And so that arrogance, that arrogance was another layer of beauty. So before she could say anything, I rushed forward and I pressed my lips to hers. Look, I know what you're thinking. I shouldn't have, but I just couldn't understand it. I mean, she was just a little too beautiful to be with someone like my husband. I mean, even I am too beautiful to be with him, but I mean, I married him. I agreed to manage. She didn't have to. Anyway, she stopped the kiss by slapping me back to reality. And then she started going on and screaming and saying that I was a pervert. That was actually when my brain was put on reset. I mean, fine. I shouldn't have kissed her, I get it. But let's not forget that she is the one. No. She is the whore who was intentionally sleeping with a married man. I hit her. No, I hit her. I hit her. It was a lot. I hit her a lot of times. We had to pay the hospital bills. The anger management thing is actually part of the legal settlement. Look, make sure you cut out that phone call, because I don't need to give her another reason to ask for more shit from me. I have to break her bones this time.
First off, your website is rubbish. It is shit. Secondly, making us record videos to look authentic is fake. And the third, my mum wants to make sure we're really getting a discount for this. My older cousin's a bitch. She's like in her 30s and a bitch. Will probably die alone, only for her body to be found weeks later because, you know, she's pushed everyone away with her bitterness. But the dude was always around in the family house. I mean, he claimed to have fallen in love with my cousin months after dating. But it never looked sincere. I mean, in his eyes. I always saw his eyes and it, not a drop of love for her. But my cousin, well, She was ready to kill, no, sell the entire family just to prove how much she loved him. What a pick me. I won't elaborate on what that means. He was too good looking for her, you know? Like, I always felt like he deserved to be with someone better looking. Or at least someone with more charisma. Someone like me. I mean, I never really cared much about the age thing because mentally we were like in the same space. I mean, we liked the same songs and we just vibed. At least that's what I thought anyway. Oh gosh, I loved his face. I mean, he had the right face for a man. Oh, and we liked boy bands. And we liked same TV shows. Gosh, I gave him hints. I mean, and I really wasn't subtle. I mean, but I guess I was doing it wrong because none of my hints were landing. Not that he said that anyway, it's just each time I tried to kiss him, he would do something completely random, or when our hugs lingered a little too long, he would just be moving his body as if I was pinching him. Can you imagine? Anyway, I decided to stay away. Focus on me. I even got myself a boyfriend. But you know, life happens, so. It was one of those summer holiday thingies, and I was missing my boyfriend. So we decided to do a thing for each other. I offered to send him pictures, and Brother Jude was texting me at the same time, trying to get my cousin to open the gate, and I replied with my pictures. They weren't very nice pictures, and I did not mean to send them. Before I could delete all of the pictures, Brother Jude had opened and read them, and thing is, he wasn't as angry as I thought he'd be. He just told me that he understood and that I need to be careful of young boys. In his words, young boys don't appreciate things like this, and it is dangerous. Things were normal again for weeks until my cousin traveled. Brother G just shows up at the house out of the blue. It just says he needed to speak to me, and I was, well, yeah, comfortable in my tank top and shorts, so I let him upstairs, and he starts saying that he's been reflecting on the pictures and that he won't be deleting them. But first off, I am doubly shocked that he still has my pictures and that they are saved on his phone. That's how Brother Jude just starts hugging me and telling me that he missed our hugs. I told him no. I told him that it was too late and that he needed to delete the pictures. But he told me that since my cousin was away for a couple of weeks, that he could finally give me what I've been begging for. Especially as he's seen how grown I looked in the pictures, and he basically had new thoughts about them. I'm not into him, so I told him no. Brother Jude wasn't going to fight. He told me that he distributes all the pictures to all our family members and he'd put them on the internet. I really couldn't deny them because it was my face all over the stupid pictures. So I begged him. And he told me that his conditions still stood. And I still said no. He said he'd give me a couple of days to think about it. And that he needed a hug before leaving. I pushing him away down the stairs. He was lucky to have landed halfway. You can imagine how my cousin handled it. It was either anger management or fully disowns me for seducing her man. They're getting married next week.